G'day guys, Mark here from the Iron Empire, and in this episode we finished up some loose ends on the 65 Thunderbird. Plus, you guys helped me pick the next mini project. 2 Falcons, 1 XE panel van or XYU. Today we are working on the Thunderbird a little bit while Ryan's getting stuck into it while I do some other stuff around the yard. But one of the first things we want to do today is get these rims all prepared so we can get them in paint, because we want to paint these things silver and it's the holidays, so we can't get a tyre shop that's open at the moment. So we want to break the bead on these rims so we can at least paint them properly. We'll leave the tyre on, but we'll break the bead. And this is how we're going to do it. We're going to put some pressure on this thing. Fingers crossed this works. We need more wood.
Yep.
Thank God, I'm a country boy. It is wheel paint day, and once again I've forgotten the colour. I've got no silver, which sucks. It's exactly what I wanted. So I'm trying to come up with a silver, which isn't working. I've ended up with a dark grey and there's no metallic showing through. So plan B, we're going to flake these bad boys. It's going to look good. Now let's fast forward like 6 months. We are down at Jake's shop and a lot's happened with the Thunderbird, but tiny little bits and pieces, nothing that I could even bother recording, tiny little bits of progress, but it's come a long way. Before we get stuck into what's happening with these wheels, as you can see they're on the car now, I'm gonna finish off a little bit of polishing on this car, drag it out, and then we're gonna have a look at how we're gonna finish this car off. So close to ready. All right guys, so here we are, the Thunderbird, out in the sun. I'm making the most of this winter sun, and after a clean and a chamois, it's come up mint, looks really good. Now, the wheels, as I mentioned earlier, we painted these wheels up with a metal flake, and I had some brand new white wall tires fitted, and then I went and added a red wall. These Thunderbirds often had a twin wall, and I wanted to sort of give it a bit more of a lift, so I've added a red wall on top of that. But you will notice that these white walls are quite dull. Now this is common with new tires. They're quite oily. All the oil leaches out, destroys that white. So I want to show you now how we can fix that. Okay, so a common problem with white wall tires, whether they're painted on aftermarket or factory white walls like these ones are, is the oil in the tire will decolor the white and turn them into a browny, creamy color, and it doesn't look good. So, fucking seriously, dude? Oh yeah, that's good. Oh, dude. And it's caused basically by the oil in the tire leaching out through the paint or the rubber and turning them brown. You can try and clean them. Sometimes you can get lucky, but generally not. Usually the only way to get this fixed is to take off that top layer of contaminated rubber. In this case, I'm lucky enough that I've got the proper tooling for it, because as most of you know, I used to run a white wall business, so I can buzz this off quite easily. Otherwise, you're gonna have to use something abrasive like a sandpaper or something like that. So let's get this all buzzed up and get it looking mint again. All right, so as you can see now, it is looking way better. Brown shit is gone. White walls looking crisp. Now while I've got it up, I may as well give it a quick once over with the red just to freshen them up. Hit the other three, and then this thing is just about ready to go. Okay, so the last piece of the outside puzzle is the fender skirts. I wasn't gonna put these on because the color match was gonna be tricky, but I'm pretty confident now. They're going on. Oh yeah, I'm feeling it. All right, fender skirts are on, and I am so glad that I did, because they look so good. It just finishes off this car. The lines look wicked. So pretty much done with this. There's a few tiny little trim bits I'm gonna do inside, but overall, this car is finally complete. It's been a long-term project, had it for about a year now. To be honest with you, I had a lot of help with it, had Ryan work on it, had Roland work on it, and I didn't have to do a lot on it myself. A little bit of paint, tidying up here and there, and just some general detailing. So this is all ready to roll now. This is gonna go to market. But for now, we're gonna hit the road, go get some merch, and then when we get back, we're gonna have a look at a couple of Falcons. Oh, g'day guys. Didn't see you there. I'm just here relaxing in a nice cozy pair of Iron Empire trackies. Aren't they ridiculous? But I have everyone covered for winter. So if you guys are keen to get warm, we have Iron Empire trackies in a very limited number in the online store now, along with a new batch of footy beanies to keep you warm this winter. Also, we got fresh hats in stock as well, with the black on grey with the black peak. So if you want to check out the online store, support the channel, the link is right here below. Now let's get stuck back into this video and check out a couple of these Falcons. All right guys, so we're back down the shop and it's time to pick a car. So these are two relatively impulse buys. I'm gonna blame Andrea for both of these cars. She found both of these like she does with pretty much all of our cars. Two classics, we got the XY utility and an XE panel van. So commercial goodness, and these two are super similar really. Like, you know, when you break it down, they're pretty much on the same platform. They've got the same front ends, they've got the same diffs, they've got the same gearboxes, and even the engine they're both 250s. This one's a crossflow, and both 3 on the tree manuals. Actually, sorry, this has got a 3 on the floor. So yeah, both cool in their own respect. Both obviously need a little bit of work, but the XE is by far a better car. This one has been parked up since shivers, I think the late 90s. This hasn't been on the road since the 90s, and that one I couldn't tell you. I don't know any history on that car at all. This XE will start with, yeah, pretty clean car overall. I mean, considering it's a work hack, yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, it's no pristine car, but for a work rig, it's a bit of a survivor, and overall pretty straight. It's not going to take a hell of a lot to get this thing looking good. There is a little bit of rust and a few little, you know, typical dings to deal with, but overall she's pretty good. We did actually advertise this just as is because it wasn't running and we got it running. I should have actually recorded that, but I didn't. So I hadn't ran for over 20 years. Got it running and driving, went up and down the road, drove sweet. But yeah, look, it needs a bit of love and it needs a new lease on life. The interior come up pretty tidy, but the seat is pretty shag. So we've got a seat getting retrimmed for it at the moment. And it definitely needs a new stance because this ride height and the hubcaps are just simply not cutting it. So we have some plans of what we'd like to do with that car. You know, something probably along the lines of maybe an S-Pack mock-up, and maybe something along the lines of maybe some centerline wheels or something like that. But yeah, that was realistically probably going to be the quicker option, and that's realistically going to be the quicker car. But also we got this XY here, and now this is just screaming some love. Now it is a bit of a beater. Apparently it runs, but who knows? We maybe need to do a video on getting this thing running and firing out for the first time in God knows how many years. But it's just sort of something that's sort of been pushed to the back of the list at the moment. So as you can see inside, it is a little bit of a basket case. Late model seats and mismatched door trims and trims on backwards and different mismatched colors. Under the bonnet here, as you can see, she's red under there. How original that is, I don't know. I can't even remember. I didn't even look at the VIN tag, but Jake reckons he's broken his finger, so we might just go check that out. Really?
No, it's not broken, I can move it.
Did you hurt your vagina?
It's swollen.
Alright, false alarm. He reckons it's not broken. Anyway, so this thing could be a cool little project, get it fired up and running for the first time in who knows how long. But we have some, I don't know what to do with it. What do? We leave it as a bit of a beta? Do we restore it? Needs a lot of work. But overall, it's still an XY ute. They don't make any more of them. So help me make that decision. Which one do we do? What do we do? Let us know in the comments below. And as per usual, you guys know that a lot of my cars are for sale and these two are no different. So you could make my decision easy for me by buying one of them off me. So if any of these two cars appeal to you in the condition that they're in, potentially available as is. So send me an email, which I will leave here, mark@theionempire.com.au, if any of these are of interest to you. But otherwise, they may be on the cards for a future mini project. I don't want to do anything too crazy with them because, as you guys know, we have massive amounts of projects already, but we just want to get these things looking a bit cooler because at the moment, they're not too cool. So anyway, that is going to be a wrap this time around on the Iron Empire. Thanks for coming back. Check out the channel. If you haven't already, like, subscribe, comment, hit the notification bell. Let us know what you think of these cars. Also, hopefully you enjoyed the wrap up on the Thunderbird. I'm super happy with how that came out. That's going to be it for this time around. I will see you all on an upcoming episode of the Iron Empire. Cheers, guys.